Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Brian Redgrave here with a wrestling review, which is actually a special review because it's my first NXT Takeover review. I don't watch NXT. The last takeover I watched was probably like 4 years ago, back in like 2016, if I recall correctly. I don't watch NXT anymore. It's been probably longer than my takeover watch, and I decided to give this a watch mainly because they have brought back the name In Your House, and I was curious about it, how it would be. Will they have a setup like the old days? So that curiosity led me to want to give this a watch, and also some of the matches actually caught my attention, and I was curious to see, hey, you know what? Let me give this a watch. So, was NXT Takeover In Your House a good pay per view? Was it worth me watching NXT for the first time in 4 years? Well, let's find out. Match number one. Forgive me if I say any of these names incorrectly. Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart, Mia Jim versus Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. If I said any of those wrong, remember, I don't watch NXT and I don't know any of these women. So let's get that out of the way. But it was a decent startup match. A little sloppy at times. It could be quite sloppy at times. But overall, an entertaining opener. Again, I don't know any other name, so the way I see it is the green girl hair side won in a decent startup match. It was not the greatest thing in the world, far from it, but it was a decent opener. This is the type of match that is normally in the kickoff of like main WWE pay per views. So that's my opinion on it. Despite the little sloppiness and whatnot, it was entertaining, had a few good spots. So overall, a decent watch. It gets an up, but again, it's nothing special. It's nothing that great, but it was a decent opener. That it's a good way to start the pay per view. But in no way did this light the world on fire. It didn't light me on fire. I was like, okay, well, this is a decent watch. Hopefully, the rest of the card is better though, but a good watch nonetheless. It gets an up for me. Again, forgive me if I said their names wrong. So let's move on to the second match, which in my opinion was match of the night. Let me say the first thing. I've missed watching Finn Balor wrestle. I have not seen Finn Balor since he got destroyed by the Fiend at last year's SummerSlam, for I don't watch NXT. So one of the matches I was looking forward to watching was Finn Balor. I know nothing of Damian Priest. But after this match, I hope to see more of him. Honestly, this was a hard hitting, fast paced, great wrestling match, which to me was the match of the night. It was entertaining. It was hard hitting. A choke slam from Damian Priest into Finn Balor at the top of the turnbuckle. We had a bump where Finn dropped Damian into the steel steps. At one point, Damian picked up Finn, dropped him in the corner of the ring outside. That always looks painful. It always does. No matter who does it. When Kevin Owens does it and this guy did it, and it looked painful. The step bump looked painful. But the match was just great. It was fast paced, counters, hits after hit. A lot of times I didn't know who was gonna win. To be honest, this match made me curious to see more of Damian Priest. And this match alone, I mean, the rest of the night helped in some terms, but this match alone was like, wow, should I watch more NXT? Should I give this a watch? Should I go back into NXT after so many years? It was a great match. It doesn't just get a thumbs up, it gets the heavy metal horns for awesome. It was great. It just stole the show in many ways. And I will recommend this match to anybody who likes to watch wrestling. It was really, really good. It took two coup de grace for the win for Finn Balor to drop Damian Priest. A hell of a match. Go watch this. If you only want to watch one match of this pay per view, in my personal opinion, this should be the match you watch. Next up was Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. And to be honest, I've been a fan of Keith Lee. I've not seen him too much, but whenever he's in the Rumble or he was in Survivor Series, whenever I see him, he's always a great wrestler that I see. And it's like I'm always impressed by him. I'm always impressed by him. I've seen Gargano wrestle a few times. I know both of these men. But again, since I don't watch NXT, I don't know most of what they do. One of the things that kind of sucked was most of the rivalries I was a little lost, except for the prepackaged videos. They did help a lot for me, who don't watch this. And to be honest, this was another hard hitting match. Keith Lee having an injury to the hand made a good reason to why he was a little struggling with a guy of Gargano's size when he's a much bigger competitor. So there was a story there. Gargano was using heel tactics at times to try to get the best of Keith Lee. This was a match where I did not know who was going to win. At one point, Gargano tried to run away, go back inside the house when he had a key from the very beginning of the match. It was hard hitting. It was great. Keith Lee won the match. I thought that was the right call. At one point, Gargano hit Keith with a key in his eye and then did a DDT. I thought that would have been it, but it was not. At one point, Keith Lee just dropped Gargano, just ran him over all the way through the plastic that they now have through the between the crowds. They call it glass, but we all know it's plastic. It really was a very good match. And I hope to see more of these guys. Again, this, like the Finn Balor Damian Priest match, made me more curious. Should I watch NXT? Should I be watching NXT? If I'm watching Raw and SmackDown, why am I not watching NXT? Was the question in my head as I was watching this pay-per-view. This was a great match. Keith Lee retained the title in a fantastic match. It was not as good, in my opinion, as the Finn Balor Damian Priest match. It gets a regular thumbs up. It doesn't get the horn, but it gets enough. It was a very good match. It's just the Finn Balor Damian Priest match I thought was slightly better. But this was, I'm no way taking anything from this match. This match was fantastic. A lot of good slams and bumps in here, power bombs, a little bit of everything. It was great. And there was story as to why Keith was struggling with Gargano when there's that big size difference. Good match. Next up was Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream for the NXT title in a backlot brawl. I didn't know what to make of this, to be honest. I know Adam Cole is a very good wrestler. He's one of those I've seen in action in multiple occasions. I've seen Velveteen Dream in action. He's a decent wrestler too. I take nothing away from these two. Or should I say Adam Cole versus Negan? Because Velveteen Dream came out here dressed as Negan, which is kind of ironic because, you know, him and Negan have nothing in common in how they act at all. If this would have really been Negan, he would have just killed Adam Cole. It was funny. Then he was dancing around. I'm like, well, okay, Negan would never do that. But I guess he's a fan, so what can I really say? So this match was done more in a cinematic style, like the Boneyard match and the Money in the Bank, but it just was not as well done. Adam Cole did retain his title in this match. At one point, from what I've noticed from the prepackaged videos, the whole story is that Velveteen Dream can never beat him because this guy got help and whatnot. That's what I took from the packaged videos. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I am. But at one point, Velveteen Dream was getting jumped by I don't know their names, the two guys from Adam Cole's group. And which is a little ironic considering everything going on. They had two white guys jump the black guy with everything going on. It doesn't bother me at all because I know this is entertainment. This is wrestling. I'm only pointing that out because I know other people will probably point it out and be bothered by it. I'm just telling you guys, this is wrestling. All right? Don't take it wrong. It's wrestling. It's just how it is. It doesn't matter. Anybody can get jumped in wrestling. So I want to point that out for people like that. This has nothing to do with what's going on. But the match itself, that cinematic stuff didn't work as much as those other two matches. For one, at times it was so dark. It was really dark. You couldn't really see too much of what's going on. At times the car lights being on were annoying as hell to see what's going on. And the match didn't feel that hard hitting as it should have, considering where they were fighting. They were fighting on the cars. There was a good bump where Adam Cole, got dropped from the ladder into a car, and then he was bleeding through his arms, not hands. And the match really wasn't that good in my opinion. I did not enjoy it. It was the one match in here so far that I was like, okay, let's just get this over with. And the whole story that the reason Velveteen Dream couldn't win was, addressed here because his two lackeys, Adam Cole's two lackeys, were taken out by a guy who sure looked like Stone Cold, in my opinion. It's like, what the hell's Stone Cold doing here? But that's not his name. Dexter Lewis, if I said that right, I believe that was his name. That's the guy who interfered, and he took both Adam Cole's lackeys and threw them in the back of a trunk and just drove off. So it gave the story of now they can't ruin Velveteen's dream opportunity at the title, but that didn't really matter because he still lost. He still lost. He got hit with a low blow, and then he got hit with what I assume is Adam Cole's finisher for the victory. At one point, there was a really bad bump in here that looked absolutely ridiculous. There was a bunch of chairs, and Dream was going to climb to the turnbuckle. So we see on camera Adam Cole get the chair, put the chair, sit on the chair, and be ready while he's sitting for the bump he's about to take, where Dream jumps on him while he's sitting on the chair. It would have been cool had Dream put him in the chair himself, but the fact that we see Adam Cole put the chair, sit on the chair to then get dropped, I was like we all know wrestling is scripted, but don't make it that obvious, please. So the match is getting it down. It was forgettable. It wasn't special. There was a few interesting moments in my opinion, but it being too dark, the car lights being annoying, and just that bad, horrific looking bump that was just, oh god. It was just a forgettable match. Nothing against the two wrestlers. I think Adam Cole's a great wrestler from what I've seen, and I think Dream was a very good wrestler from what I've seen. But from the storyline, he's not getting no more title opportunities while Adam Cole is champion. It gets it down, though. So Dream can no longer use the excuse, technically, that the two guys screwed him out of it because the guys were taken out. It was no DQ, but anyway, the guys were taken out. And he really lost because of his own ego, because I guess he was like talking trash, talking shit to Adam Cole, and that's when he got hit with the low blow. So he can only really blame himself. So he's no longer getting any opportunities while Cole is champion, which who knows how long that would be. But I don't think anybody's complaining about him being champion. So next up was Tommaso Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. When this match happened, I only know Tommaso Ciampa. I have no idea who Karrion Kross is from, but from what I've been told, it was his first pay-per-view match, his debut. So I was curious to see that. His entrance, I love his entrance. Let me just say that right now. And Tommaso Ciampa is a very good wrestler, curious, but I was very surprised at how this match went. This match was a complete burial, pretty much. And I don't mean that in a bad way of like they did him dirty. I think it's a strong way to debut him if it's his first pay-per-view. Karrion Kross destroyed and dominated Champa for most of this match, with Champa having very little offense at times. It was the shortest match of the night, I believe. I think even shorter than the first match. But I didn't have a problem with that. Maybe if you're a big Champa fan, you have a trouble with that. But it didn't bother me at all. This guy just, he had my attention from the moment his entrance happened. It was epic. Let me just say he hit a nasty ass F5 that was better than any F5 Brock Lesnar has done in his career. It just looked devastating. It looked hard hitting. It was epic. He put Tommaso Ciampa to sleep with a submission move, and he won the match in a quick fashion. It was probably the shortest match of the night. There was not a lot of technical wrestling here since he just destroyed him for most of the match. But I think that was fine. You can't have every match play out the same in the night. So this is a good way to, have your first pay-per-view debut. You beat a guy who's been NXT champion, who's been on the top, who fans know who he is. So it's a good way to introduce him in with his first pay-per-view debut. So it was good. It was a good way to do it. I know if you're a Ciampa fan member, you were disappointed at how he was portrayed here, getting destroyed so easily. I think it was a good move, though. So it gets an up. I enjoyed it. So up for me. So now it's time for the main event of In Your House. This was the match I was probably most looking forward to due to the fact that I watched WrestleMania. I saw Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I thought it was a good match, and I thought Rhea Ripley should have won that match, and Charlotte won. I was not a fan of that. So I was curious to see them, but they added Io Shirai, who I've never seen wrestle before, into the match to make it a triple threat match. Here's something about me. I love triple threat matches for the most part. I think that they tend to be very good a lot of times. And this was no exception. This was a really, really good match. This was a good match. Charlotte's best performance in a long time. Rhea Ripley was hard hitting as always. And Io Shirai impressed me throughout the whole match with some of the things she was doing. Jumping off the turnbuckle. She jumped from the top of that house. I know it sounds ridiculous, right? But you can see the picture of how it was. It was all very well nice. Io Shirai actually won the match, and going into this match, I wanted Rhea Ripley to win this match. I wanted Charlotte to lose. So I had this mindset of like, I want Rhea to win, and that's it, and I want Charlotte to lose. I didn't get Rhea winning, but I did get Charlotte losing by Io winning. But she impressed me so much in this one match, and that I had no problem with this. I had no problem with this at all. I think she did very good. She performed very well. I think all three of these performers should be proud of the match they put, because this is a very, very good triple threat match in this pay per view. I can't lie. So the finish came where Charlotte speared Rhea. Afterwards, she went for the figure four. And as she was doing the figure four, Io Shirai, I believe it was a backflip. She went to the top of the turnbuckle, jumped down on Rhea Ripley, and she got the 1, 2, 3 because Charlotte couldn't get out of the figure four on time. I thought that was a very creative way to do it. Sure, Rhea took the pin, which I guess you want to protect the champ, even though I don't care for Charlotte as champ. But I guess that's the mentality here if Charlotte's gonna, stay around NXT for a while. So it has a good reason to think where Charlotte hasn't lost the title. Rhea was stuck in the figure four and then got hit. So it's a good way, who knows, maybe you could do a second triple threat, or maybe you can go individually where Shirai fights Rhea or Charlotte. Overall, it was a very, very good match. I had no complaints, and it made me a fan of Shiro Shirai. If I said, I don't even know if I'm saying her name right. And she had a big celebration at the end. And to be honest, it gets an up, an up, an up. It was a very good pay per view. It really was. There was, only one match I just did not really enjoy, being the Adam Cole and Dream match. I'm not too much of a fan of cinematic matches, but I did enjoy the Money in the Bank and had, mixed feelings on the Boneyard match. So maybe you think it's awesome if you enjoy the cinematic flair of those matches or fights, or how they're more built on fight than matches themselves. I was also very happy to see how everything was set up. It did look like an In Your House event, because heading into this pay per view, I was like, are they just calling it In Your House and not really be in your house the way they looked, you know? And I'm happy to say they looked spectacular. It looked really good. It looked like we went back in time to that time. And also, they had some commercials which were looking like they were from the 90s, the way they did. I think that was creative. I think they have fun with that. I think they really went all out on the set and how they did the whole commercial thing. I think everything went good. I hope to see more of these in your house. I know they did this to celebrate the 25th year anniversary of the very first in your house. So, is this a one-time thing, or are you gonna do this a yearly thing? It'd be cool to see this done in a yearly thing. I love the sets of in your house. Always have, probably always will, because they're very different and they're kind of more basic in a creative way. So I really enjoyed everything. The matches were good in this pay per view. Every match was, I thought, good. Even the first match was a little sloppy, but it could be enjoyable. And the Dream match, Adam Cole match, was the only match that just kind of let me down. And I have to say, all the rest of the matches, the Finn Balor match was just match of the night to me. The Keith Lee match was just great. I cannot argue. The triple threat match was also great, and it piqued my interest to maybe go back to start watching regular NXT. So, was NXT Takeover in Your House a good pay per view? Yes, it was a damn good pay per view, which a lot of damn good matches. I enjoyed it, and it was not that long. It clocked in at 2 hours and 20 minutes, and like I said in my Money in the Bank pay per view review, short sometimes is better. We don't need every pay per view to last 4 hours like they were doing before. This is a good runtime. It makes it easier to watch. I can tell somebody, hey, check this out. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. Not, hey, it's 4 hours. So I can easily recommend this pay per view to somebody who likes wrestling. And it did its job that, to be honest, it's not trying to do this. It's trying to be a good NXT pay per view. But it did a job of piquing my interest back into the NXT brand. I never watch NXT anymore. It's been 4 years since I did, and I don't regret watching this pay per view. It was a great, great pay per view. So this has been Brian Redgrave for my review of NXT Takeover in Your House. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you agree with me or disagree with me. If you think I'm crazy and I'm praising it too much, or if you thought Adam Cole vs. Dream was a great match. and or Negan. I'm just gonna call him Negan now. And please subscribe. I'm doing a giveaway. I'll be doing a giveaway when I reach 100 subscribers. I'm currently at 71. So please tell your friends to subscribe to my channel and help the channel out for a possibility of them also winning the giveaway. I do a lot of videos, so not just wrestling. So I hope you enjoyed this review. This has been Brian Redgrave. Redgrave out.